The wind was blowing fine snowflakes through the narrow streets of the village. A small mountain village was completely isolated from the outside world due to a snowstorm. A group of friends came to this isolated village to spend the winter holidays: Mia, David, Emily, and Alex. The first days were spent with walks and hot drinks on the streets, lost under the snow. However, after a few days, the weather in the village got worse and the roads started to be closed. The group decided to take shelter in a house in the village. However, as the days passed in the village, a feeling of unease began to permeate those around them. One night, Mia heard strange noises. It's like an incomprehensible melody, different from the howling of the wind. He notified his friends, but the others could not hear the voices. The group began to see strange shadows moving around the house, but each time they looked out the window, they could see nothing. Another night, they heard strange footsteps inside the house. Trembling with fear, the group checked every room in the house, but no one was found. The group was beginning to sense that something was wrong in the village. A few days later, they decided to check other houses in the village. However, the houses were empty. There were no signs. No signs. The villagers seemed to have disappeared without a trace. The group decided to work together to solve the mystery behind these mysterious disappearances. An ancient old woman told the legend in the village. Years ago, the village made a deal with an ancient demon. However, the agreement had one condition: one villager would disappear every year. But this time, the demon wanted more sacrifices and was determined to bring back those who had abandoned the village. After learning the terrible truth in the village, the group realized they had to get out. However, dealing with the demon's traps and the mysterious events in the village would not be easy. The group must prepare to fight the dark forces in the village as they begin an escape story full of fear and tension. The group, after learning the horrifying truth in the village, began to make a plan to escape. However, the dark forces in the village were doing everything in their power to make their escape difficult. They noticed that the shadows around their houses were intensifying and strange sounds were playing at a higher frequency. One night, as the group moved towards the center of the village, the fog around them thickened. After a moment of silence, they suddenly encountered terrifying figures emerging from the snow. They realized that the shadows were servants of the demon. Their eyes were red and their faces expressionless and lifeless. In a panic, the group started to flee, but they felt that the dark forces were following their every step. During a momentary pause, Mia began to see the ghosts of the past. The faces of the villagers were silently approaching them. The line between reality and the supernatural was becoming increasingly blurred. Eventually, the group managed to escape the village, but the dark forces were still pursuing them. They felt as if they were lost in the snowstorm. After a momentary pause, the fog around them dissipated, and the shadows disappeared. The group left behind the memories and nightmares influenced by the village. However, when they stepped outside, the village had vanished without a trace. There was only a snow-covered clearing in the forest. The group began to question whether the terrifying events they experienced were real or hallucinations. In the end, they left behind memories filled with traces buried in the secrets of the village. With a sense of relief from having survived, the group looked at each other. However, deep inside, traces of facing the ghosts and dark forces of that mysterious village still lingered. Every snowstorm, every strange sound served as a reminder of those haunting experiences, leaving behind a mystery that would remain unsolved.